Good morning, and good morning. How's it going? How is it going? I know it's only been 2 days since you've seen me last, and thank you so much for that. I'm excited about today. Today is a big day for me. Today is a day in which I am going to assume the role of president of Suburban West Rotary. So, this is a day that I really wanted to talk about lead. How many of us really have skills to lead and we don't? We only follow. I believe that you need to lead at times and other times you need to follow. I always tell my daughter about the school of fish. One time she was telling me a little scenario of something that had happened, and she was trying to explain to the people that she hangs around with certain thing that she felt she had better information on than they did, and she was trying to explain it to them, but they didn't like the fact that they felt that all of a sudden she might be above or beyond where they were. And I said, well, sweetie, let's listen to this. A school of fish hangs together. You don't have it where all of a sudden, one fish decides they're going to go all off to themselves. No, the school of fish remain together. You can't get away. So sometimes you have to realize the groups that you're in and what you're going to be leading on and leading at. So I said, let me talk about lead today, since I'm going to take on a new leadership role with my Rotary Club. I'm excited about it because I really got to be honest. I hadn't envisioned it, but it's a process. So it takes a number of years to get to that point that you've learned enough information that, you have enough of what it takes to be a leader, because you're taking on, working with a whole bunch of other people that are dealing with, the treasury, the secretary, the membership, the special grants person, all kinds of things that really, you know, um, have it where you need to be in good control of what you're thinking about and how you're helping everybody work with you and work together. And so to me, that's a leader. That is a leader, somebody that can work with other people for the purpose of just letting people know that we're going to do this, but never, we're not going to do it just that I'm the leader. I'm also occasionally learning. I'm going to learn something from them. They will learn something from me. So there's going to be an exchange. So I asked you, what is a lead? What is it when you lead? Have you led anybody? Well, it says the lead is the initiative in an action. It's basically an example for others to follow. And many of us have been in lead roles for years as parents, as teachers, as Sunday school teachers, as, leaders that are working with children in Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Brownies, all those. I always tell you I was a campfire girl. And as a campfire girl, yes, we did have a leader, and I remember her name was Hoboken. I remember it took us a long time for us to say her name was Mrs. Hoboken. But I found the card recently, and I was just wondering if she was still living, because her name was Alice Hoboken, and she was just a lovely person. She was raising her kids and raising us as well. That's how I learned how to set a table properly, to understand that the knife should be facing into the plate and the spoon should be to the right of the knife, and they should all be on the right hand side. And because you would start cutting with the knife and you pick up the fork to hold the meat or secure whatever it is that you're trying to cut down. That stuff, that's invaluable stuff that she led us to understand. She led us to know the significance of her leadership. So to lead really talks about who's in first position, who's there, to catch the good and the bad, to be the mediator between the one and the twos, the threes and the fours. Who are they? It says it's also the person that's at the forefront. They're trying to keep things on track, straight. It says that they may be the primary person or the dominant person, because that's what leadership is. It really talks like, well, who do we go to? I remember there was a case that, we were working on, within the government when I worked for the government, and it talked about the fact that there's still, almost like regardless of what you know, it still made it that even if you don't know and you're the leader, you're still responsible. That's scary. That's very scary that you're in a position to lead and you may not know what all the people that are working with you or for you are doing. What if somebody's stealing money? What if somebody is doing something that certainly is morally incorrect and they're a part of an organization? So those things I have to pray about. Okay. As I take on this role, I have to pray about them, that I will be able to steer the ship on, guide the train where it needs to go, make it stay on the track, looking at the bus route that we're taking, understanding that if we're in the air that we need to, realize that there's not other planes too close to us, just getting us to a point that my start will be effective tonight, but my end will be this time next year, so that we will be looking at how to make sure in that year's time that I accomplish something. So, when I ask you, are you stuck? Sometimes we are. Sometimes we are. No matter what leadership role or even following role we take, we may be stuck with what we've agreed to do. So when I break the word down, I start with, in order for me to be in a role like that and like this, I'm going to take, it says I must be learned. I must be learned. It says to gain and acquire knowledge of the skill in something by either studying, experience, or being taught. And so that puts me at some point in a position where somebody else is teaching me some things. So that way I know. And so that makes it worthy of what needs to be understood and gained from other people. Sometimes people don't know their worth if you never tell them. So to me, to learn is also to give back. So if they're giving me something, I'm going to thank them for it. I'm going to acknowledge them for it. And I'm going to certainly share the fact that I didn't do it by myself, that somebody else helped me in this vision or in this direction. That's what I would look at. The other thing it says, and this is going to be a quick session today because I have a lot to do before tonight, but my E, and I can tell you that my E is elucidate. And I love that word elucidate. It's to make something clear, make it plain, to be able to explain it, to make it where it's been illuminated, light has been shed on it. So to give information means that you have enough information to give, and that the information is accurate, or at least as accurate as it was given to you. And sometimes we don't always do that. We may end up not knowing enough information to give. So when we really look at elucidate, we need to be clear. We need to make sure that we make it plain so that people understand it. We need to be able to explain it. And if we can't explain it, that means we ourselves need more clarity to put the information out there. We need the clarity. We have to do it. The next thing, and I'm not seeing anybody, I see people are on there, but I don't see any messages so that I can respond to. So I'm just going to keep going till I finish. Okay. My A for lead in the word of lead is to attend. To me, to be a leader, you also have to be present. Have to be present. Okay. So that means be present at an event, a meeting, or a function. So I will be there, even though I got some weird news earlier that I need a foot operation. I'm going to figure out how I can get it done and still do my duties. I'm going to show what I need to show. Oh, good morning. Good morning, my niece. Hey, call me when it's over. Okay. But that's the intention. The intention is that I must be able to attend the things that I need to tend to. So, it says to attend is to be present at a meeting or a function. And it says to be at. You can't call in and say, I can't go to this meeting. Next week, I can't go to this meeting. Well, you're really not taking on the duties that you should be really worried about doing if you're not there. Then it says take part in and appear at, because sometimes I know as leaders, you're invited to come and do something. it may be to represent by speech or by participation in some way. It may even be presence, but you're there. You're there. So we certainly need to look at, I don't know, all of a sudden I got a frog in my throat. But we need to look at how we learn, how we make it, illuminated for others so that it's clear that we are there. And then that we actually attend, we show up. How many of us show up for work and don't work? How many of us are in marriages and we're not really in the marriage? Attend. What are you attending to? It's just so many things you can even think with that same little scenario. How many times have I done something and I really wasn't into it? I really didn't pay attention to it. Or I sat through an entire session and I know nothing to write about. One of the things I did after I came back from my trip from Australia is I wrote everything down. I took little notes on my phone, and when I came back, I wrote up a report. I know people don't like to read because we're in that fast age of, not just microwave, but, even fast fry. So I ended up just writing down some areas that I thought they were of great interest. When we move further on in the word, I couldn't come up with just one word for my D. I came up with develop and deliver. Okay. To me, you have to develop a process of how people work with you and you work with other people. You have to make yourself accommodating and welcoming, where they feel like they want to talk to you. I don't want it to be that people have to talk behind my back. One thing I do remember about my mother, Lily, who was certainly a leader, is that she would always call up whoever might have been talking about her. And she says, look, I want you to have that conversation by yourself. I'll be right over. And if you ever seen the Wiz and Eveline down in her I would say her nasty silo with all of the toilets, one of the things she was doing is she was walking fast and she was talking stuff. That was my mother. Okay. But she attended to a business. Okay. And she made things clear. She made certain that she elucidated what she needed to have out there. And they learned from her because they knew not to mess with her. They learned from her. So I would say for me, the 2 Ds are develop, and develop is to grow or cause to grow. I want people to say that we grew together, that the membership enlarged, that the missions were more enhanced, or we added new missions onto Rotary or our Rotary Club, or whatever it is that makes our group more unique, but also growing in terms of elevating, how much in terms of finances that we can do, fundraisers and those kinds of things, but also looking at the membership as a whole. How will that increase? So it says develop, obviously, to grow or cause to grow, to grow and become more mature, which we will be, more advanced or more elaborate. Okay. It says we are to grow, evolve, mature, and expand. That's what I hope we do. I hope that we are able to move higher and higher into being recognized as a serious, Rotary group, which we've been for years. So I am just picking up wherever others have left off. I'm following a wonderful young man. He's just wonderful. I love Chuck Harris. Chuck Harris and his wife Honey have been the sweetest. I did give a small little event the other night on Saturday evening, and he and his wife came, as well as Mike Stahl and his wife, and it was wonderful, just to fellowship with people outside of the real realm of what's working or the group itself. And I invited members of Rotary to meet other members who had no information or much information on Rotary, to really look at how they can learn a little bit, elucidate a little bit, and certainly talk about their own businesses that they're currently in, and maybe be able to find a position or place. Good morning, Miss Rosie, in our design. That's good. That's really good, Rhonda. How to find a position in our Rotary Club that they could certainly enjoy. And lastly, I have for my D is deliver. There's nothing like starting something and you have plans. But everybody that probably knows me knows I am borderline workaholic, constantly have something to do. I won't shirk my duties, even though I've gotten more on my plate and something else to do. I think I was kidding with somebody, but it's probably true in the statement that when I'm gone from this world, that somebody will look at me and say, "Yeah, hey, can finally sit down and finally lay down and get some rest." It is what it is. I just feel that every day, I love hard, I work hard, I play hard. I mean, I just get involved in what it is that I'm involved in. So if I give you time, it's your time. It is your time. If I'm working with you, let's work. If I'm playing with you, let's play. If I'm running with you, maybe not as hard as I used to run, but I will run. Um, if I'm going to sing with you, let's sing. Okay. So I'm going to give it all to you as best I can. So deliver says, of course, is that we provide something as promised or as expected. And I know my Rotary members will expect me to do a good job. My prayer is that I will not let them down, that I will do a good job, that I will, in fact, I would do above their expectations. Sometimes if we only search for the middle, we'll be at the middle. But if we search for the top, even if we fall slightly, we will not be in the middle. We will not be at the bottom. So I'm constantly looking at how can you increase what it is that you do and what you love to do, which is bring people together, really look at the opportunity for future worthiness for others to see the goodness, not just in you, but in other things that they can do for other people. And it says that when we deliver, we're going to bring it, we're going to take it, we're going to take it around, and we're going to convey it. So I will see you all on Friday, because Friday my head will be much more clear than today, because I still have to finish up for tonight to have a small little speech and getting myself together and finding out what outfit I'm going to wear. Everybody knows that is my only love. That is my true love. That and smelling good. Those are my true loves. Is that I will be dressed well. My mother did it. I do it. My family, we love it. We just love to put on nice clothes, and so that's my only thing I'm gonna bring with me tonight. I'm gonna be dressed well, and hopefully I will be in a position where I've learned well to lead. I've been able to elucidate, which is to explain what it is that I'm all about, that I will be attentive to whatever the club wants, that I will develop as much as they allow our group to grow with, and that we will deliver something that we didn't have before and enhancing what we have now. I'm going to see you on Friday. You all go out and figure out today what you can lead on, where you can lead to, and how your leading would help others. Okay? I love you guys. I appreciate the fact that you support me. And I will be back on Friday. Take care, and take care. Don't get stuck. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.